Welcome to another episode of Firo Frontier, where we update you everything that's been happening in Firo in the past 2 weeks, or this one's probably a little bit longer. This is unscripted, and we just wanted to give you a quick update of everything that's been going on. So before you go any further in this video, we would really appreciate if you give us a like and subscribe. I think only half of you guys have subscribed to our channel, and it's a free way to show support of the channel and get updates right to your YouTube algorithm. And make sure to click that bell button, because that really helps to also make sure these videos get to you promptly. So yeah, let's kind of get right into it. We had a lot of huge changes in Firo over the past month or so, and I guess the biggest one is this huge tokenomics change, and the Hardfork was completed successfully on around 18th of September or so, right? And I just want to give you a brief overview of what these changes are. There's been already a really detailed blog post on all of this, so I wouldn't dwell into it too much, but in short, basically now after several months of community feedback and voting, actually several rounds of voting, the community has decided on the implementation of 3 things to Firo tokenomics. And the first thing is that instead of following Bitcoin's halving schedule, which halves the emission of supply every 4 years, now there will be a fixed emission of 6.25 Firo a block. Basically keeping the same emission that you are used to today and bringing it until the supply of 21.4 million is fully emitted. That's the first change. Second change is actually the introduction of a tail emission. So what's the tail emission? The tail emission means that once the initial bootstrap supply of 21.4 million has already been issued, there will be a perpetual 1 Firo per block created every block, and this will be done forever, right? That means there will always be some sort of block subsidy to miners, to masternodes, to keep the network running and not be totally reliant on fees. There's a lot of research on this, that a tail emission actually leads to a stable monetary supply because coins are being lost, and a 1 Firo per block and tail emission actually only amounts to less than 1% inflation every year, which keeps on decreasing because as more supply is being, it becomes a smaller proportion of the overall supply. So that's the second change. The third change is actually a readjustment in the block reward division. Previously, it was 50% to masternodes, 25% to miners, 15% to developers, and 10% to the community fund. That has been kind of shifted to everything else stays the same, except that now masternodes get 70% of the rewards, with 5% remaining to the miners. And this kind of reflects how our community is being built, where the masternode owners are the most engaged people in the community. Previously GPU miners were they were much more engaged with the community, they would participate, but we haven't been seeing that for quite a few years now. And I guess the mining ecosystem has changed, where basically they just mine and sell to the exchange straight away, which is not necessarily bad, but the community felt we gave the miners also a vote in the community, but they didn't show up. So yeah, basically the masternodes decided that to reduce their role in the ecosystem. So Firo from now on still will have a hybrid ecosystem where masternodes form part of the consensus and miners form another part of the consensus. But moving forward, it seems that masternodes, at least until tail emissions hit for the next 4 to 5 years, masternodes is going to play a much bigger role, and I would argue actually provides better security in many ways. So yeah, if you want, you can go through, go to our blog and check this blog out. It will show all the discussions that we had that led to this change, and also a very kind of detailed breakdown of how all these changes work. So yeah, I hope thanks to everyone who voted, gave feedback. Even if it's a dissenting opinion, it's important, right? We want to have open feedback, constructive criticism, and we really, really value everyone that voted. So thank you very much. And this is the result, and we are moving forward with this, right? Okay, so this is the first kind of big topic. The second topic is actually something that's personally very exciting to me. So how Firo has been we have been like bootstrap source, we have been short of funding, and basically this privacy advocacy group called PowerUp Privacy, which is basically an anonymous group of developers that really want to support privacy, just gave us a huge bunch of donations that really make sure to keep the lights on. And they're not just funding development, they're funding marketing, they're funding liquidity. They really, really want to support Firo. And they're getting nothing in return. That means, we are not giving them any tokens, any sort of privilege in our ecosystem. It's a pure donation. And all they ask is to get regular updates of how we are deploying the funds, how we are using the funds. And we are more than happy to do that, right? This particular post was in August, which this was the first donation of 50,000 US dollars. But subsequently, they have actually made several other donations, which I have listed in the forum. Let me scroll this down. Let me take a look. Oh, this was actually posted in our newsletter. I'll actually put it here, right? So this is a more detailed breakdown of the new incoming they have brought us. So they have gave us an interest-free loan of 240,000 US dollars worth of cryptocurrencies that we have deployed to various important exchanges. So far, this has been Binance, of course, the biggest one. We also have Ascendex. We also have nonkyc.io, which is an exchange that doesn't require any sort of identity or KYC requirements. So it's great for people who want to protect their privacy. They also support Spark transactions as well. We've received 125,800 USD. We actually just received another 50,000 US dollars again. To fund the development of Spark assets, which we will talk about later. But just to show you that this is going to be a long-term commitment to PowerUp Privacy, or from PowerUp Privacy. They're not getting anything in return. So please, if you really, I'm like, this is a lifesaver. We really appreciate them, believing in us and giving us so much trust to us. And I hope the community also gives a show of support for all their donations and work so far. So if you want to do that, you can sign up to our forum at forum.firo.org and just leave a nice comment, and it would really help. So even put it in the comment in the YouTube section. And we have really, really big plans. I don't want to not really spoil the surprise, but we don't want to announce anything that isn't confirmed yet. So we have a long-term partner. They don't want anything else besides see us succeed. They are acquiring Firo, and that's all I can say for the moment. And they've already donated more six-figure amounts to us without any expectation of return. So we're really excited for that. Thank you so much, PowerUp Privacy. It's really, really appreciated during this time. So you can actually see that some of their deployments have been having an effect. You can see that the depth in Binance, in Ascendex, in non-KYC have improved, so that you can actually do quite active trades there. I noticed that Nominex is a new exchange there, which draws liquidity from Binance. I mean, that's a side topic, but I just thought it was quite an interesting inclusion because we've never spotted this exchange before. So we're seeing this, and we also have launched a new Hummingbot campaign. Let me see, where's that? Also funded by PowerUp Privacy, which rewards people who provide liquidity towards Ascendex or Binance at the moment for the Firo USDT pair. So this is the kind of encourage people to provide liquidity. It doesn't that means we don't have to engage. It supports our market making efforts, but this is like community market making with some rewards involved. And you can actually see that if you manage it, the returns are pretty decent. Let's take a look at the more. This is like less live, right? So it goes to miner.hummingbot.io. You can see that the yield is about 568% yearly and 334% if you go to Ascendex. And this is obviously changes all the time. The more people participate, obviously that return drops down. And obviously there is trading risk because you're buying for Firo and USDT. But it's a nice way to support the project. We've covered before how to set up these bots. If you want, we'll probably leave a link there to remind you guys a little bit more technical, but it's a profitable way to get your Firo working for you. All right, yeah. So just take note of the risks. But yeah, again, this whole campaign was funded by PowerUp Privacy. It's for 6 months, so that's a long period of time. This campaign is not going anywhere for the next 6 months, so this is really exciting. And it helps to maintain centralized exchange liquidity as well. All right. Yeah. So let's move on to the next topic, which is our brand new newsletter. This is community run in the sense that, of course, core team gives feedback, but several of our community members, shout out to Zed, especially Zed that has been stepping up to do this work. We also have people like Daravid also chipping in, and also a couple of others that I probably wouldn't name here unless they're comfortable being named, that will be contributing to this bi-weekly newsletter. They will keep you updated about all these things right to your inbox, right? We use Button Down. So Button Down is kind of like this newsletter management system. We've configured it in a way that respects your privacy, in the sense that there's no tracking little icons, but obviously we have a database of your email addresses and whatever, that's basically it. We get your email address. I'm not sure if we get your IP address, but I don't think we get your IP address because we don't have that tracking pixel inside there. So yep. This is totally opt-in. If you're not comfortable giving it, that's fine. But if you would like to receive news about Firo right into your inbox, we would love to see you sign up for this. You can actually also go to the archive and you will see all the previous ones. We've only posted one so far. And this, as you can see, summarizes all the news. We intend to probably put in more information, but not in a way that will be too difficult to digest. But if you have any suggestions for this, we've had some good suggestions from the community on what they would like to see. But if you want to see more things in the newsletter, you want to contribute to the newsletter, let us know. Please, we would appreciate you to sign up for this newsletter, and I promise not to spam you. Okay, cool. And while we're on the topic about talking about subscribing to our newsletter, don't forget our forum, where basically, a lot of the really important discussions happen, from funding, from, things that we want feedback on, even some really like this open letter that I wrote to the Firo fam. But yeah, we really want to hear from you. You want to have a vibrant community because Firo is built for you guys, right? And we need to hear from you guys. We want to engage you guys because you guys, Firo fam is basically Firo, right? Yeah, cool. Right, another thing that I wanted to kind of bring everyone's attention to is basically Campfire wallet. So we've talked about this probably in the previous episode, And Campfire is, totally open source, right? And it supports all the Spark transactions. It's a light wallet, so it syncs really quickly. So if you take a look, if I open here, you see synchronizing. The first syncs, takes less than a minute to sync, but otherwise, most people don't really want to maintain like a full node wallet. And here you can just straight away start up with Campfire. It's available for desktop. It's available for on Android and iOS. And please download it. And if you like it, please leave some comments. It really helps to kind of like boost thing. And look, it's free. And yeah, we are currently raising funds for this. So CipherStack are the guys that really built this up, and a lot of the things that they built was basically they didn't even charge us for it, right? And it would be really nice if some of our community members who really like this wallet, which we plan to make the kind of default experience for this wallet. I mean, like the default experience of Firo to be Campfire, right? Because it's just light, it's easy to use, it's user friendly, and we want to build this more. We want to have more features. We want to show a huge thanks to CipherStack. So if you like Campfire and you want to support, the best way to actually support that is to go to funding.firo.org, and there is an open proposal for a Campfire development donation, right? So you can see here, all you need to do is scan to this address or type this address in and send some Firo in. And so far we've gotten a bunch of transactions already. So, a bunch of people have like donated Firo. We would like to see more. Obviously it's totally optional, but remember, Firo is not VC funded. We don't have, we don't have venture capital. It's all funded by donations and the block reward, right? And you want to see something, even if it's just one Firo or less, it's fine. We appreciate everything that you guys do, and more importantly, we want to build good products, right? So if you like Campfire wallet, I personally do, please download it, give it a try, and donate to this, whatever you can spare, right? Maybe a masternode rewards or whatever, right? And we actually do have some additional plans on how to improve Campfire, right? And so we already have swap features that are going to be included. This is going to be using centralized non-KYC swap providers where you can swap Firo or into Firo or out of Firo, use without an exchange, just use like a swap provider for that. We want to add like masternode management support. We want to add like the ability to show chain locks happening. So, making sure that that the transaction is final even before the block confirmation. And there's a couple of other things here, right? We also want to have Spark names, which we will talk about later. And eventually, when we have Spark assets rolled out, we definitely want Spark assets within Campfire and want it to be the default experience. So please, remember, we'd like to see some donations. CipherStack is, it's not a very rich company. They do great work. This is all open source. It's there for everyone. Please, we would appreciate the show a little support here. So great. Right. And now the next topic, which is also very exciting for me, is confidential layer. So I don't know if you remember a long time ago when we were talking about Elysium and all of that. Some of you guys have been asking, all right, what has happened to Elysium, right? Elysium is not off the table. We actually developed Elysium to completion. It was actually released on mainnet in a release candidate status. But by that time, we had already developed Spark, and we found a way to do it better, which hides asset amounts, hides even the hides asset types, and also hides amounts as well. While the previous, the previous iteration, which used the earlier Lelantus protocol, not Lelantus Spark, only hid, sender and receiver and only partially amounts, right? So we thought that rather than have this kind of like, not complete solution, it'll be better to actually redeploy Elysium. We might call it something else, using Spark Assets technology, right? And one of the big questions is that, yes, okay, first of all, what is Spark Assets? We've covered this probably in a previous blog. I think there's also some video that shows what Spark Assets are. Basically allows anyone to create their own assets, or to, it could be a stable coin, it could be a meme coin, it could be a voting token, and basically create not just, Firo is not just a privacy coin now, it becomes a privacy asset ecosystem, and everyone can create their own tokens and they share all the same privacy with Firo. That means using the Lantern Spark technology. And I think one of the most coolest things is the asset type is hidden. That means whether you're transferring Firo, USD, some stable coin, or meme coin, they all look the same on the blockchain, which is really, really, really powerful and what we need. One of the missing components was that, how are we going to bring existing stable coins, existing active assets from other ecosystems into our Spark Assets layer, right? Especially, we're not EVM, smart contract based stuff. We are just all really focused on privacy. And confidential layer is kind of like that answer. Previously, we had a partnership with Oracle, but I think that project, I'm not sure where it's gone. It doesn't seem to be, taking off. But we're good friends with the guys at Xano, and who introduced us to confidential layer. And if you take a look, we actually already kind of teased here where these are some of the privacy blockchains they want to support, right? And the Xano is there, our good friends at Xano, that has also asset support, and Firo, which we are using our Spark technology to also build asset support. And what this basically means is that you can bridge all these assets, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Ethereum eco tokens, so like all those stable coins and all of that, and bridge it into our Spark Assets ecosystem and transact in a private manner. And you will also have liquidity all directly on this confidential layer chain, right? So if those of you who are familiar with Torchain or Maya, those are also, I guess, similar type of projects. And the problem with those is that they don't really support privacy coins, because I'm not really sure why. But this confidential layer, their whole focus is to bridge assets into privacy chains, being kind of that interoperability layer between public blockchains and privacy blockchains, especially those that support asset support. Monero's going to take a bit of work because they don't have inbuilt asset support. There is a way, but it's probably kind of like, later on in the future. So take a look at the confidential layer. We will be, we are firming up our partnership with them. Exactly what this partnership will look like, what this integration so far is going very positively. We will make that announcement when we're ready, but I just kind of want to tease you guys. We also are planning to have some co-marketing activities. They have a lot of budget. I'll be hopefully seeing their team in the next 1 month or so, and hopefully we can get some really exciting news out, because this is really kind of like the missing component that we need to make Spark Assets really, really a killer app, right? Can you imagine stablecoins coming in, all these meme coins coming in, or voting things, or even Firo? They all look the same on Spark Assets, and now it's like Firo no longer is alone. It's not like an island anymore. It becomes part of the greater crypto ecosystem, with assets being able to bridge in and out. So we're really excited. If you're really interested in confidential layer, leave a comment. The confidential layer guys wants to know that you guys want it, because it does take work to put it in, and we plan to work together hand in hand with them. So please leave a comment if you like what you're seeing. Cool. Now, the other thing that we're talking about is that, we always talk about when marketing, and that was previously not possible because we had very little budget. Could either stop development, which it becomes very hard to restart, because once you lose your talent, when you want to onboard people, it takes a long time to get onboarded, and it's people don't these things can come and go, right? So we actually put a really strong focus on keeping development going, keeping Firo the progress of development and research going forward, right? But now with PowerUp Privacy coming into play, where they are willing to pump money into marketing, of course at the right time, we are looking into other ways to incentivize and to grow the Firo community, right? And we're looking at, of course, engaging KOLs. We have been in talks with certain crypto marketing firms. But more importantly, we're also looking at ways to like incentivize actions on our blockchain, right? We spoke to the guys at Claimer. Basically, like, if you install the Campfire wallet, you do a Spark transaction, you participate in our stuff, there will be like rewards and giveaways for that. We're looking into this. Now, I guess the big question to the community is that obviously when you are participating in this type of stuff, there is some privacy, like you're giving up certain privacy, because when you want to set this up, you probably have to give up your email address. You'll probably be tracking your IP address, and if you connect like your socials and stuff like that, they want to track your actions. So again, this is all opt-in. This is a way to bring people in, right? Because if we just follow like full privacy and whatnot, we can't do all these activities, and we kind of fade into, I would say, like obscurity, right? So here it is totally optional if people want to participate and are willing for the privacy. We're going to try to do it so that you don't have to give your real name. Obviously, we don't want to have any of that. And try to minimize the amount of data that you have to give to the platform. But obviously some information has to be collected for a system like this. So appreciate your thoughts, whether we should do things like this or should we just focus on KOLs and stuff like that. But it'll be good to kind of grow our community beyond our existing Firo fam to other, maybe even people outside the privacy space to join and like kind of teach them the importance of Firo, because if they don't understand what's happening, then yeah, it's like they won't even come and try us out. So this is kind of like the ways and benefits. I personally think it's fine, but some of the privacy maximalists might see otherwise. So this is something that we're planning to launch. We appreciate your feedback. Obviously, this will go hand in hand with KOLs and all these other key opinion leaders and all of that. And we might kind of really want to do a big push when Spark Assets is about to roll out, because that is kind of like the killer feature. So all these components are coming together. Really excited. This is the first time we actually have funding to do all of this. Again, thank you to PowerUp Privacy for making this all possible. Right? So yeah, the next thing is something that is going to be coming in the next couple of months, which is something we haven't put a blog announcement on this, but we place it on the forum. So you can kind of think about the forum is where you kind of can get a glimpse of what's going to happen in Firo before we make an announcement. So I guess you can get some alpha for it. But more importantly, it's a way for you to engage and tell us what you guys think, before we go ahead and make this all, right? So we have this idea. We actually totally figured out. We've already started coding it. And it's this idea of Spark names or aliases. We've kind of finalized the name on Spark names. And the idea is that, we've seen how a Spark address is really, it's like there's no way you can remember it, right? Like if you take a look at, let's just look at the Campfire wallet again. If you say take a look at this, right? Obviously, no one's going to remember this. And if I want to send to someone, it's a matter of either scanning the QR code or actually, copy and pasting, right? Which is fine. But sometimes you just want to send to like a handler like Alias Ruben or Alias Firo or Alias something like that, right? And this is where it comes in, where Spark names comes in, where basically you can pay Firo to basically register Spark names, right? And that means what we will do is that, let's say I want to have Ruben. Ruben will be registered to this particular Spark name, so that if you, or when you want to click send, you just type alias Ruben, it will send automatically to that Spark address. And why we are only supporting it for Spark address is because Spark addresses keep your privacy, right? That means like you can share it publicly, but no one, unlike like traditional kind of addresses where people can see like, oh, you know, I look up Ruben, like if you know Ethereum name service, you look up this, you can see all the transactions that that particular alias made. With Spark, Spark names and Spark addresses, even you put like Ruben there, you put that address there, nothing actually comes up. So we only want this feature for Spark addresses because we are all about privacy. And our plan is to have, that means like registrations are limited in period. That means you can't register them forever, right? Because we want people to not like do squatting, right? Like, oh, I'm going to like register all these names and just sit on them, especially when Firo is cheap, right? We want people to be actively kind of like a domain registration, right? You register for 5 years or so and then it expires and stuff like that. And we're also going to make it varying prices. So like if you want a one-letter alias, it's like alias B or alias X, right? That's going to cost you a lot more because that's a lot limited. While for the average name, which is like, you know, 6 letters and above, it's only going to cost like 1 Firo and stuff. And what we're planning to do is to channel all this money that you do from registration, renewals, and all of this towards the community fund. So that means now you will have Firo's community, besides the block reward, would have a recurrent source of income, right? So I think this is a great idea. Obviously, it means that once we've also figured out how to do a transfer of ownerships. So we actually had to do some like cryptographic work to kind of enable that. But it means that, let's say like I register Ruben, or let's say I register like Firo Fiend, right? And someone else says that I really want Firo Fiend. If they pay you, you can transfer that ownership of that Spark name to that new address from that person. So yeah, I think this really improves Firo's usability. And sure, there may be other implementations out there, but I believe this implementation is superior because it's not forever. There's this renewal mechanism. There are differing prices for different lengths, and it creates this kind of like, you know, like there's this vanity that, you know, I want the short name, I'm going to pay more. And it creates this way for the community fund to continuously receive some money in Firo. It may not start with much, but as Firo price goes up, it's going to be a sustainable fund for Firo to keep developing and the community to have things to do with it. So remember, this money doesn't go towards the core team fund. It goes towards the community fund that's managed by the independent community fund committee, right? So yeah, I'm really excited about this. We actually have a lot of the work already done. We're working on the UI. Hopefully we can get up on testnet pretty soon. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. It's something that I really want you guys to be engaging with, right? And the last bit of really exciting news is actually Curve Trees. So we announced Curve Trees back in March, and we've finished the research for this. And basically what Curve Trees does is an upgrade to existing Lelantus Spark, which uses zero knowledge proof called one of many proofs, which is why we say, you know, our anonymity set is in the high thousands, right? It's like tens of thousands or so. But obviously we prefer for that anonymity set to be in the billions or so. And that's basically what Curve Trees does. Curve Trees is a technique that gives global anonymity sets to Lelantus Spark. That means it can support billions and billions. That means every single transaction is now like part of this giant anonymity set. So for those of you, you know, when we're talking, who have heard my fart in the lift analogy, you're not just talking about, you people have gone inside and out of lift. It's like everybody that has used Firo, right? So this is really exciting. It requires a lot of work, but work has started. It's through Kayaba Nerve. Kayaba Nerve is a very prominent Monero contributor, probably one of the biggest contributors in moving forwards Monero's tech. And he has agreed to help us implement, well, he calls them FCMPs. We call them curve trees. Same thing, a version of FCMPs to be integrated into Spark. We have funding from the Magic Fund, and that fund will be donated to Luke's preferred cause for this. So work has started. We will keep you posted on this. We're not in an exact hurry. This is quite a long-term effort and a pretty huge upgrade. Would also require audits and all of this. But I wanted to let you know that, if you thought Lelanta Spark was great, this is going to get everything that we want. And it's also the cool thing a lot of you guys have been asking. It's also it has forward secrecy. That means in the event where quantum computers come into play, your anonymity isn't broken. So that means it's future proof as well. So yeah, really exciting updates. I really hope you enjoy this episode of Firo Fortnight. Again, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please click the subscribe button. Please click the bell button, and please, I really would like to see more of you guys subscribing to our newsletter. And thanks again, Firo fam, for standing through thick and thin through us. I really think that this bunch of updates are going to usher in a new future for Firo. It's really exciting. As you can see, many big things are happening. And again, thanks to PowerUp Privacy, thanks to Luke, thanks to basically all of you guys, right? And we want to make sure we want to push Firo to success, to where we actually belong, because we are truly one of the most innovative privacy projects out there. We just need to get more people to know about us. So thank you very much, and this is Ruben signing off.